Was it difficult for you to adapt to this kind of school after having been for so long at a very traditional school?
It was hard indeed, because when I first came there, I was bored.
It definitely takes some time to, I guess, rediscover your ability to drive your own education.
And then I started talking to people, and then I started doing things, first computers and guitar and whatever. And it took like 3 or 4 months, and then I sort of settled into it. But it was, yeah, I didn't think it would be that hard when I first got there.
I think it was most difficult for the teenagers who were coming from traditional schools. The young kids still knew how to play. You know, they were comfortable with playing, and so they seemed to transition very easily. The really little kids.
Usually, if a kid comes in without having first been in a conventional school, they won't have any problem with the system. It's a very natural system. Kids that come in without first being spoiled by a conventional school, they usually just, blossom. It's completely natural to them.
Well, I started when I was 4, and I just played a lot, and I didn't really understand the model and everything and how JC works. I did vaguely understand it, but in school meeting I didn't talk at all. I told my mom, and I wanted her to talk to me, but I was too shy. I was always so shy.
I was only 9 and a bit at the time, so all I did was play games and have fun, and I didn't have any problem with it, and I did love it.
And I didn't really get it until this year, because the other people in my school don't get it that much, so I'm kind of the one who's telling them not to do stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
Obviously, students who understand the way the school works are the best people to pass that information on to new students. That really, for a kid, no one has greater credibility than a kid that's a year older.
There were some kids who were pretty wild and were not used to thinking for themselves. And I remember we had a group of kids, I think it was in the first year, we had a big tractor tire that was about this big around. And they thought, oh, this would be fun. We'll roll it down the hill, down the driveway. And of course, at the bottom of the hill on the driveway were all the parked cars. And so they rolled it down the hill and smacked into somebody's car. And of course, they spent the rest of the year paying back the person whose car they dented. But it was, they just weren't used to exercising their own judgment and thinking through and saying, if we do this, I wonder what will happen. They just thought something would be fun, and they went for it because they weren't used to that. They weren't used to not being supervised. And the other thing was, I think that a lot of the teenagers were very angry, and angry with adults and angry with schools, and they, even though we were trying to be a completely different kind of place, they needed to have somebody to be angry at. So it took a long time to overcome that attitude. It took a while for to some extent it was younger kids getting older and becoming teenagers, and then showing now they show the new teenagers how the school works, so teenagers can make the transition more quickly. But when they were all new, there was nobody to show them how the school worked and to allow them to trust the situation.